When Lin Dong heard Yan's last sentence, his face turned completely somber. "What is this eternal phantom demon flower?" Lin Dong asked in a low voice within his heart. "A terrifying thing from the alien demon clan. It's said that cultivating this flower requires the flesh and blood of countless beings, and the blood of an alien demon king as a catalyst. It takes 1,000 years to finally nurture an eternal phantom demon flower." Yan's voice also carried a heavy tone. "This flower emits a scent imperceptible to humans, and once inhaled, the person falls into an illusion that never fades. Unless the person's body deteriorates and perishes, they remain trapped in that illusion indefinitely. To outsiders, there would be no signs of anything amiss, appearing as if one is in secluded, deep meditation." Lin Dong's pupils contracted slightly. "You mean, the top expert from the heavenly demon Mink clan here has already fallen into such an illusion?" "Yes," Yan nodded gently. "This celestial cavern indeed has been manipulated secretly by the alien demon. The top experts of the heavenly demon Mink clan who meditated here, including their leader, are likely all ensnared." Lin Dong exhaled deeply, trying to dispel the shock in his heart. The terrifying methods of the demon prison sent chills through him. The celestial cavern was a sacred place of the heavenly demon Mink clan, yet these top experts fell under its trap right under their noses. Such ability is unnerving considering the heavenly demon Mink clan is one of the 4 dominant clans, a leading power in the entire world, yet so vulnerable against the demon prison. No wonder, in ancient times, to deal with them, all races and forces across the world let go of their differences and united. Those ensnared in such illusions wouldn't realize it themselves. They probably think they've left the celestial cavern and are roaming freely. Lin Dong pursed his lips, his expression becoming increasingly serious. These tactics were bizarre beyond imagination, trapping someone in an illusion without their awareness. "Let's find little Mink's father first." Lin Dong sighed softly. The most urgent task was to locate little Mink's father to see if anything unexpected happened to him, although given the current situation, the chances were already at 90%. Thinking this, Lin Dong quickened his steps, following a faint trail from the blood feather in his hand as he dashed in a certain direction. As he raced along, Lin Dong sensed 3 more meditation sites, and to his slight shock, he found an eternal phantom demon flower in each of them, indicating they too were trapped in illusions. Half an hour later, Lin Dong's rushing figure abruptly stopped, his gaze fixated intently on the blood feather in his hand that, after appearing dim, now regained some brightness. "Are we here?" Seeing this, Lin Dong mumbled, then turned his head to the dark left side and hesitated briefly before gently reaching out his hand to touch it. As Lin Dong's hand touched that dark space, light ripples spread out, and the darkness receded, revealing a broad and tranquil cave before him. This cave was more serene than the previous ones. Flickering bright candles emitted a calming sandalwood aroma. At the center of the cave was a cyan stone platform, upon which a majestic figure sat. He was dressed in black, with dark golden hair cascading down, exuding an aura of dominance. It felt like an untamed beast ready to unleash its might at any moment. Lin Dong stared at the middle-aged man with dark golden hair in the cave, sensing the authority and oppression emanating from him. That presence was no less than that of the Dragon Clan's leader. Clearly, this must be little Mink's father, now the leader of the heavenly demon Mink clan. Look at the wall behind him. Just as Lin Dong felt a sense of relief at finding his target, Yan's deep voice suddenly echoed in his mind. Upon hearing this, Lin Dong's gaze shifted immediately, his pupils sharply contracting. On the wall behind the majestic figure, 3 black eternal phantom demon flowers swayed gently, with a faint black glow flowing on their petals. 3 blossoms. The alien demons really don't hold back, but to trap a peak expert at the reincarnation stage, this is the only way. Yin clicked his tongue. Seems we've been caught off guard. Lin Dong frowned deeply, his gaze fixed on the quiet cavern. He didn't dare to rush in, knowing that if the eternal phantom demon flower could ensnare even reincarnation stage experts, recklessness could doom him to live in a perpetual illusion. What do we do now? How do we pull him out of the illusion? Destroy that eternal phantom demon flower? At this point, Lin Dong could only seek advice from Yin, whose experienced insights were invaluable. The fragrant illusion has already been inhaled, so even if you destroy it now, you'll just have to wait for the scent to completely dissipate inside him before he naturally wakes up, Yin explained. How long will that take? Lin Dong asked with a furrowed brow. Half a year at least. Lin Dong's brow furrowed even deeper. With only a few days left before the heavenly demon Mink clan would choose their new clan leader, it was clear they couldn't wait for half a year. How can we remove the phantom scent from his body? Since the main issue was the phantom scent lingering in the heavenly demon Mink clan leader's body, he needed to find a way to eliminate it. Generally, this kind of scent can't be removed. It has to gradually wear off. But there's an unusual method, right? Lin Dong knew Yin well enough to guess that he usually had a solution up his sleeve when he spoke like this. You catch on quick. The phantom scent is tricky, but fortunately, you have the ancestral stone. When my creator made me back then, it was to deal with the alien demons. Similarly, this phantom scent is within my capability. Hearing this, Lin Dong quietly breathed a sigh of relief. Without further delay, he drew his blood feather, instantly tearing apart the seal-like barrier of light. Yin, protect me. As Lin Dong spoke, a gentle white glow emanated from within him, enveloping him completely. With a calmer heart yet still cautiously on guard, he stepped into the spacious cavern. As soon as Lin Dong set foot inside, he detected a faint, peculiar fragrance seeping into his nose. Instantly, a slight dizziness arose in his mind. Thankfully, it wasn't overpowering, and he quickly recovered, though a trace of fear flickered in his eyes. The eternal phantom demon flower truly was terrifying. Even with the protection of the ancestral stone, it still affected him. He could only imagine if he had recklessly rushed in without preparation, he would likely be trapped in an illusion by now. In ancient times, there was an extremely formidable alien demon king called the Phantom Demon King. He fed on the eternal phantom demon flower, effortlessly casting people into endless illusions. Unless one was a reincarnation stage peak expert, even those at the revolution stage had no chance against him, Yin recounted with a sigh. So powerful? Lin Dong was shaken. While the revolution stage wasn't as formidable as the reincarnation stage, it wasn't so weak as to lack even a shred of hope. Yet the Phantom Demon King was such a formidable existence? Indeed, during the Great Celestial War, countless revolution stage experts fell to him, some reincarnation stage experts too. Eventually, the Ice Lord intervened and defeated him. The Ice Lord again. Lin Dong lamented, feeling the pressure that this name imposed upon him was immense. Russell. Lin Dong walked through the quiet cavern, stopping in front of the stone platform. Up close, he could feel the imposing aura emanating from the heavenly demon Mink clan's leader. His appearance bore some resemblance to Little Mink, but he had less of Little Mink's mysterious essence, exuding instead a dignified authority. Lin Dong stared at the black-robed middle-aged man before him, and in the next moment, his pupils shrank because he saw a finger of the supposedly entranced person twitch slightly. Huh. Even Yin was surprised by this change. What's going on? Lin Dong asked in amazement. If the heavenly demon Mink clan leader was trapped in an illusion, he shouldn't be able to respond to what's outside. Seems the clan leader of the heavenly demon Mink clan is quite capable. Even though he's currently in an undeniably real illusion, he might sense something, but can't be completely sure, Yin said. So you're saying he might suspect he's in an illusion but remains doubtful about it? Yes. Yin nodded with a smile. This is good. If he doubts the reality of his situation, it makes awakening him less complicated. Lin Dong sighed silently, feeling a chill run down his spine at the thought of such a method that could blur the lines between reality and illusion. Let's deal with this eternal phantom demon flower first. He maneuvered around the stone platform and approached the mountain wall. Clenching his hand, lightning and black flames flickered as he prepared to destroy the eternal phantom demon flower, the root of all this. Hold on, that thing is actually a treasure. Don't destroy it so easily. A voice suddenly called out just as he was about to act. Lin Dong was taken aback, clearly unsure of what Yin wanted with it. Yin chuckled mysteriously. From a certain perspective, the eternal phantom demon flower is a rare treasure for those cultivating spiritual energy. If you want to break through to the Talisman Grandmaster realm, you might need its power. Talisman Grandmaster? As these words reached Lin Dong, his body momentarily froze. A deep fervor surged within his dark eyes. Talisman Grandmaster, a level akin to a watershed among talisman masters. Many in the world cultivate spiritual energy and primordial energy jointly, yet few ever reach this realm in spiritual energy cultivation. Compared to primordial energy, spiritual energy is undoubtedly more elusive. Achieving the Talisman Grandmaster level in this realm is no easy task. Prior to the Talisman Grandmaster, the robustness of spiritual energy might seem slightly weaker compared to the imposing primordial energy. However, once reaching that level, the true power of spiritual energy gradually reveals itself. A Talisman Grandmaster stands on par with a Revolution Stage expert. Even when a Revolution Stage expert encounters a top-tier Talisman Grandmaster in spiritual energy, they would surely find it daunting. Currently, Lin Dong's spiritual energy was at the peak of the great completion of a mortal Talisman Master, merely a step away from the Talisman Grandmaster. Nonetheless, he understood that this step demanded great opportunity. Could this eternal phantom demon flower be that chance? The eternal phantom demon flower can plunge one into an illusionary realm. In that realm, it is not the physical body but the mind that is engaged. So, in a sense, it provides a unique form of spiritual cultivation. But, of course, the requirement is the ability to control this power. Otherwise, you risk mental injury and, ultimately, the withering of your physical body, Yin explained coolly. Lin Dong nodded. It seemed this thing embodied both risk and opportunity. However, we don't have time for that now. Let's focus on solving the problems here first. As Yan's voice faded, a gentle white light shot out from Lin Dong, forming into a white light dagger. The dagger swept forward, carving out 3 large holes in the mountain wall. As the stone fell away, complex dark roots emerged, twisted together like a ghastly face. Screech! As it detached, the eternal phantom demon flower, sensing danger, emitted a sharp screech. The flower danced, quickly sending a thick cloud of black light, mingled with illusionary scent towards Lin Dong. Seeing this, Lin Dong was startled, not expecting such ferocity after its removal. Humph! Yan's cold snort sounded. At that moment, another stream of white light shot from Lin Dong's body, transforming into an ancient stone talisman. It released chains of runes that shot straight into the fallen rubble. Boom! The rock burst apart, revealing 3 stalks tangled in complex black roots, now entwined by the rune chains. They writhed violently, releasing streams of wicked black gas which dissipated on contact with the rune chains like snow melting in lava. Capture! A low command echoed from within the stone talisman. The rune chains retracted, encasing the 3 eternal phantom demon flowers and drawing them into the talisman, dispersing much of the eerie fragrance in the cavern. Lin Dong let out a sigh of relief after capturing the eternal phantom demon flowers, thankful to have the ancestral stone, an artifact superb at restraining alien demons. Without it, he wouldn't have dared to enter the cavern. Now to deal with the illusionary scent in his body. Lin Dong turned his gaze to the heavenly demon Mink clan leader on the stone platform, his expression cautious. Removing the scent from his body was crucial. Otherwise, who knew when he might awaken naturally? Don't worry, Yin replied, his figure shifting as he appeared above the heavenly demon Mink clan leader's head. A gentle humming accompanied the descent of soft light, fully enveloping the figure. As the radiant glow enveloped him, the heavenly demon Mink clan leader's rock-like body began to tremble slightly. Faint wisps of black gas emerged from his pores, carrying an unusual fragrance. Whenever the black gas encountered the white light surrounding the clan leader's body, it emitted an ear-piercing noise before dissipating. Lin Dong stood silently nearby, careful not to disturb, his gaze fixed on the clan leader's face, which was quite expressive, mostly filled with bewilderment. Clearly, As the illusionary essence within him was being cleansed bit by bit, the illusion he was trapped in became imperfect. For someone of his pinnacle strength, even a slight flaw in an illusion could mean escape was inevitable. The purging process continued nearly half a day before Lin Dong saw the glow around the ancestral stone above the heavenly demon Mink clan leader begin to retract. When the last glimmer was absorbed into the stone, it quivered slightly before transforming into a glimmering light that entered Lin Dong's body. Understanding this signified the cleansing was complete, Lin Dong smiled slightly, looking towards the clan leader still immersed in meditation. Yet, to his surprise, the clan leader showed no sign of waking up. Although the illusion fragrance has been removed, the length of time he's been trapped in the illusion necessitates a complete recovery of consciousness before awakening, Yin explained. Otherwise, the confusion between reality and illusion could harm his mind. Lin Dong nodded, realizing the situation. The eternal phantom demon flower was indeed formidable, even capable of trapping a peak reincarnation stage expert like the heavenly demon Mink clan leader. We should leave this for now. His awakening relies solely on himself. Let's head to other parts of the celestial cavern and collect those eternal phantom demon flowers. We will be doing them a great favor, Yin suggested with a smile. Lin Dong had no objections. Helping resolve troubles for the heavenly demon Mink clan and acquiring the valuable eternal phantom demon flowers was beneficial to him. Thinking thus, Lin Dong left the cave, wandering through the celestial cavern. Along the way, he encountered several secluded caves with top experts from the heavenly demon Mink clan inside, similarly trapped in illusions caused by the eternal phantom demon flowers. To Lin Dong, these flowers were nothing short of treasures, so he collected them all. He then used the power of the ancestral stone to cleanse the illusions from the trapped experts. As he proceeded, Lin Dong's stockpile of eternal phantom demon flowers grew from 3 to 9, knowing, as Yin had said, that the more he had, the better they would be for cultivating spiritual energy. A few secluded caves within the celestial cavern were inaccessible to Lin Dong due to seals at their entrances, presumably set by the reclusive experts within. He felt helpless, realizing his access to the heavenly demon Mink clan leader's cave was only thanks to possessing his life's blood feather. Without it, he would be left staring at the sealed entrances. The people meditating within these sealed caves likely held significant status and power within the heavenly demon Mink clan, deduced Lin Dong from the overwhelming aura he sensed at the entrances. However, these individuals were also trapped in the illusions. Unable to bypass the seals, Lin Dong resigned to leaving them until after the clan leader and others exited meditation to address the situation. Time passed unnoticed as Lin Dong explored the celestial cavern. 2 days quickly went by without any sign of the heavenly demon Mink clan leader awakening, causing him some concern since the clan's decision on the candidate for the next clan leader approached rapidly. Aimlessly wandering the celestial cavern, Lin Dong held an eternal phantom demon flower, bound in talismanic chains. What normally would cause alarm even among revolution stage experts was now casually brandished like a whip in his hand. Am I near the end of the celestial cavern? Lin Dong paused, sensing a barrier emerging from the darkness ahead. His eyes glimmered with curiosity as he hesitated before reaching out to touch it. Buzz. The dark space in front of him undulated, sending ripples outward, yet this time, the cave behind did not materialize. Lin Dong exclaimed in surprise as his hand touched the dark space. Vaguely, he could sense an ancient and mighty aura emanating from beyond the darkness, one that felt even more formidable than the heavenly demon Mink tribe leader. Could it be that a super elder of the heavenly demon Mink tribe is in seclusion here? Lin Dong murmured to himself. From this place, he didn't detect the scent of the eternal phantom demon flower, suggesting it was the only spot in the celestial cavern untainted by its influence. This discovery shook Lin Dong, indicating that the mysterious elder within must possess terrifying power. The heavenly demon Mink tribe indeed had deep roots. Lin Dong didn't linger here long. He cast a deep gaze at the dark space, then turned and retraced his steps through the convoluted paths back to the cave where the tribe leader resided. As Lin Dong stepped into the cave, his expression suddenly stiffened. He looked up abruptly, his gaze fixed on the stone platform where a previously motionless figure was now slowly opening its eyes, sharp and closed for a century. Boom. In that moment, a vast storm of primordial energy formed within the cave, and its terrifying pressure made Lin Dong's body slightly tremble. Yet, he was not frightened. Instead, joy appeared on his face. This old fellow has finally awakened. Before the ancestral temple of the heavenly demon Mink tribe. Normally, the ancestral temple was a heavily guarded sacred place within the tribe, but today, it was bustling with excitement and activity. Today, the heavenly demon Mink tribe was to decide the true candidate for the next tribe leader. Such a matter was extremely significant within the heavenly demon Mink tribe, warranting the solemnity of the ancestral temple's sacred setting. In front of the ancestral temple lay an ancient altar square paved with blue stone. A giant stone monument towered there, engraved with the names of many predecessors of the heavenly demon Mink tribe, each having achieved great deeds. The lively atmosphere enveloped the altar square, but beneath the clamor lay a subtle oddity, originating from two distinct groups on the square. To the left stood a tall figure with a strikingly handsome face. His lips were set in a tight line, resembling a blade, exuding an ice-cold sharpness. His long eyes held an inherent rebelliousness, marking him as quite distinguished even here. This figure was none other than Little Mink. His hands hung loosely by his side as he gazed steadily at the stone monument. His handsome face remained calm, unlike the group behind him, who watched the group on the right with cold vigilance. That group was also sizable, led by Hao Jiuyou, whom Lin Dong had met before. Though his presence wasn't as commanding as Little Mink's, his face wore a warm smile, engaging in conversations that gave a refreshing impression. This man was unquestionably cunning, and his demeanor couldn't help but win others' favor. This hypocritical guy, Wu Chong, standing next to Little Mink, snorted with disdain, clearly holding no goodwill toward Hao Jiuyou. "Quiet down, lest we invite criticism," Little Mink said without turning his head. Wu Chong grimaced but kept silent. Had Little Mink not vanished for a century, Hao Jiuyou would hardly dare act so brazenly despite his courage. "I wonder how Brother Lin Dong is faring. He's been in the celestial cavern for several days now." Wu Chong spoke in a lower, worried tone. Little Mink's expression faltered slightly at these words. He shook his head helplessly. Worrying was pointless at this stage, but knowing Lin Dong, the latter wouldn't easily encounter trouble. Plus, we're close to determining the tribe leader candidate. Considering the situation now, that fellow's chances seem pretty high. If he truly becomes the candidate, his influence in the tribe will only grow, making it hard to change even if the leader returns. Wu Chong sighed, aware of Hao Jiuyou's tactics. If he became the tribe leader, he'd certainly suppress their faction. Thinking too much won't help now. Little Mink shook his head. The situation was as it was, and overthinking was futile. Did Hao Jiuyou really think seizing his position was easy? In the plaza, many eyes lingered on the two figures at the forefront of both parties. Those gazing at Little Mink held a sense of regret. Many were contemporaries of Little Mink, well aware of who once truly commanded respect in the heavenly demon Mink clan. In those days, regardless of talent or authority, Little Mink was unmatched among the young generation of the heavenly demon Mink. Everyone believed then that Little Mink would undoubtedly become the next clan leader. However, an unexpected event completely changed the trajectory. The commotion before the ancestral temple continued until more than a dozen elders appeared on the temple steps, gradually quieting the crowd. Over the years, with the old clan leader in retreat, and Little Mink missing for a century, the clan's elders have managed its affairs, holding considerable influence within the heavenly demon Mink clan. At the top of the steps, leading the 10 elders, was a gray-robed old man. His hair was white, yet his skin was as smooth as an infant's. His half-closed eyes sparkled with wisdom, and a powerful wave of primordial energy emanated from his every move. This man was the current great elder of the heavenly demon Mink clan, Zhu Li. Zhu Li's gaze swept slowly over the altar square. Many clan members displayed respect as his eyes passed over them. When he looked at Little Mink, the latter merely nodded slightly. Zhu Li nodded back to Little Mink before sighing internally. A century ago, No one among the heavenly demon Mink's younger generation could rival him. Even Hao Jiuyou, now highly accomplished, had once been just a follower by his side. But alas, 100 years can allow others to catch up. Today's gathering has a clear purpose, Jiuyou stated decisively. With the clan leader in retreat for a century, our clan's affairs need management. The clan leader hasn't returned, so we must identify a candidate for the position. As for the candidates, there are two main contenders, Little Mink and Hao Jiuyou. Their support within the clan is neck and neck. Even after deliberations, the Elder Council reached no consensus. The crowd nodded slightly. Little Mink and Hao Jiuyou both had established reputations, one well-known and the other a rising star. Hao Jiuyou's recent achievements were comparable to Little Mink's past ones, making the choice challenging. Therefore, we decided to resort to the most fundamental method, might makes right. Jiuyou continued, glancing at the calm Little Mink. Neutral within the clan, Jiuyou had a slight fondness for Little Mink due to his father's influence, but his role required utmost impartiality. Little Mink and Hao Jiuyou, both at the revolution stage, were exceptional talents in the heavenly demon Mink clan. Each would be a suitable candidate. Unable to decide by vote, they turned to the revered method in the demonic beast world, the rule of power. It all boils down to a fight, doesn't it? Wu Zhong sneered. It's the simplest and most direct approach, Little Mink replied quietly. But that kid is no longer simple. His strength almost matches yours. I wonder how he advanced so rapidly in the past 100 years. Was he always suppressing it? Wu Zhong mused, his tone serious. He had witnessed Hao Jiuyou's astounding rise and his victory against an elder years ago, elevating his prestige within the clan. Despite his skepticism, Wu Zhong couldn't underestimate Hao Jiuyou's formidable strength. Even with more years of training, Wu Zhong believed a fight between them would end in more losses than wins for him. As Jiuyou finished speaking, whispers filled the crowd once more, with eyes flitting between Little Mink and Hao Jiuyou. Curiosity and anticipation marked their faces as they pondered who was truly the superior. Do either of you object to the elder's decision? Jiuyou asked Little Mink and Hao Jiuyou. Hao Jiuyou smiled slightly, about to answer, when someone beside him interrupted, Great Elder, I heard someone recklessly try to force their way into the celestial cavern days ago. Jiuyou furrowed his brows and glanced at the person beside Hao Jiuyou. He was naturally aware of this matter, but considering Little Mink's urgency for his father, he chose not to delve deeper. However, it was clear that Little Mink had acted against the clan's rules, and this guy was obviously trying to pin a disregard for clan regulations on Little Mink. Haha, Great Elder, please don't mind. Brother Little Mink is usually steady in his actions. This was just a minor slip, and it's understandable. Therefore, please don't blame Brother Little Mink. Hao Jiuyou smiled and then silenced the person who spoke. Damn it, that bastard really knows how to put on a show. Wu Zhong's face turned steel-like. Without Hao Jiuyou's instigation, would that guy have dared to speak up? Now it backfired, gilding Hao Jiuyou's reputation and bolstering his influence. Little Mink's handsome face remained unchanged. He just gave Hao Jiuyou, who was beaming, a long look, then smiled gently without a hint of anger or joy. Thank you, Brother Jiuyou, for understanding my predicament. I've been missing for 100 years, and my skills have declined. I'm curious to see just how much stronger you've become since then. Hao Jiuyou's eyes narrowed almost imperceptibly as he looked at Little Mink. Even now, he couldn't help feeling a bit of intimidation from Little Mink's past brilliance. But now, he was no longer who he used to be. I will make everyone see that I can now stand above you, the once peerless genius of the heavenly demon Mink clan. Hao Jiuyou's hands clasped tightly within his sleeves as he stepped forward, a trace of murderous intent brewing in his heart with each step. As Hao Jiuyou slowly walked into the arena, the eyes of many around fell upon him. Among Little Mink's generation, the most dazzling star was undoubtedly Little Mink. Hao Jiuyou used to be nothing more than a timid follower in his shadow. Who could have predicted that the once inconspicuous boy would, 100 years later, become Little Mink's biggest contender? Hee hee, Brother Little Mink, it's been 100 years. I look forward to learning from you today, Hao Jiuyou said with a smile, clasping his hands towards Lin Dong. You've changed quite a bit. Little Mink cast a light glance at Hao Jiuyou. The once timid boy who stood before him tremulously, filled with silence and self-doubt, had undergone a complete transformation. Brother Little Mink has always been the target I wanted to surpass. To reach this point, change was necessary. Hao Jiuyou smiled, his gaze locked onto Little Mink. Perhaps due to the angle, Little Mink caught a glimpse of something sinister behind his smile. The person before him was no longer the timid boy who needed his defense from bullies. Then let me see if you truly have what it takes now. Little Mink's eyes flickered before settling, a sharp glint forming deep within them. If neither of you has any objection, then let the duel determine the candidate. But remember, this is a sparring match. No deadly blows. From the top of the steps, Zhu looked at the two opposing figures below and sighed inwardly before speaking solemnly. Brother Little Mink, during our match, I ask you to show mercy. Hao Jiuyou grinned widely, yet his eyes were devoid of any humor, instead reflecting a cold intent. He intended to show everyone that the once dazzling genius of the heavenly demon Mink clan would now be trampled beneath his feet. Boom! As soon as his voice fell, an astonishing aura erupted from his body. Vast primordial energy surged violently around Hao Jiuyou, the aura of life and death perfectly blending, showcasing a true revolution stage level. Little Mink stepped forward, emitting an equally formidable aura that countered Hao Jiuyou's pressure. His fingers curled subtly, arcs of fierce purple-black light flickering between them. Brother Little Mink, it seems your century wasn't wasted. Back then, you hadn't stepped into the revolution stage. Hao Jiuyou remarked casually, though not showing any surprise. He had already measured Little Mink's strength. But we shall see today, if it's your revolution stage that's superior or mine. A glint of cold light flickered at the depth of Hao Jiuyou's eyes. With a swift move, he appeared ghost-like around Little Mink, transforming into fleeting shadows. Each shadow's fingers curled, emanating razor-sharp, icy energy aimed mercilessly at Little Mink's vital points. Little Mink glanced at the residual shadows that appeared before him, letting out a cold laugh. His eyes flickered with a purple-black light as he suddenly thrust his palm forward. Vast primordial energy surged in his palm, radiant as the rising sun. Boom! The shadow of Little Mink's palm struck one of the residual shadows forcefully. The other shadows immediately disintegrated, and Hao Jiuyou's figure emerged, with his fingers pressing against Little Mink's palm. His entire arm was enveloped in majestic primordial energy. Crack! Cracks appeared on the bluestone slabs beneath their feet, caused by the overflow of primordial energy at their point of contact. If you want to defeat me, do it head-on. Such tactics are useless against me, Little Mink remarked calmly, glancing at Hao Jiuyou. Well, then, I'll oblige, Hao Jiuyou replied with a smile, though the coldness in his eyes deepened. Retracting his fingers, he leapt into mid-air, his palms moving as vast primordial energy roared through the heavens like a flood. Under this energy's condensation, dark purple stars began to form in his palms. The Great Nine-Star Palm? Surprised voices arose from those around the plaza at this sight, as the Great Nine-Star Palm evidently held significant prestige within the heavenly demon Mink clan. The Great Nine-Star Palm, huh? Even Little Mink's eyes showed a hint of fluctuation. He took a step forward, his palms stirring, and dark purple stars too began to form in his palms. Clearly, he too was executing this formidable martial art of the heavenly demon Mink clan. Buzzing, fierce primordial energy howled like a river across the land. In mere seconds, both Little Mink and Hao Jiuyou had 9 stars forming in their palms. Though beautiful, these stars radiated immense power, enough to compel ordinary revolution stage experts to evade. As their attacks gathered, the two locked eyes, each seeing a challenging glint in the other's gaze. In the next instant, their primordial energy roared. 2 massive light palms exploded outwards, with the 9 stars jumping and flickering, releasing astounding power. Crash! The light palms collided like meteors in the sky, dazzling light spreading out while the violent energy ripples surged like tides. Yet, amidst these ripples, neither figure moved an inch, their eyes locked like sharp eagles. In the blink of an eye, Both vanished. Whoosh whoosh. In mid-air, the piercing sound of breaking wind echoed as the two phantoms darted and intertwined like specters, their palms clashing. Vast primordial energy permeated their every strike, each powerful enough to shatter mountains. Little Mink and Hao Jiuyou are evenly matched in strength. Their clash is quite intense, Zhu Li observed, nodding as he watched the fierce aerial duel. Though Hao Jiuyou lacks Little Mink's talent, his century of hard training has tempered his character to be no weaker, remarked an elder, clearly siding with Hao Jiuyou. Zhu Li glanced at the elder, who wielded significant influence within the heavenly demon Mink clan. This elder had long-standing issues with Little Mink's father, and naturally, he didn't wish to see the position of clan leader fall to Little Mink. Little Mink may be arrogant, but a century of training has brought improvement. If our heavenly demon Mink clan loses its sharpness, it wouldn't live up to its name, another elder chuckled. With these exchanges, other elders began voicing their support, showing a slight preference for Hao Jiuyou, given his impeccable performance over the century. Listening to the elders' debate, Zhu Li frowned but said nothing. He merely watched the two figures in the sky. Both were powerful, and neither would easily outmatch the other. A draw seemed quite possible. Boom. In the sky, the two figures exchanged blows, vast primordial energy sweeping out, and both figures were blasted backward. They trembled momentarily, their enormous 1,000-foot bat wings unfurled. One pair black for Hao Jiuyou and the other with strange purple-gold runes for Little Mink, symbolizing pure bloodline purity. The two pairs of bat wings gently flapped, and two colossal tornadoes rapidly formed before them. One black, the other purple-gold. Rumble. Both Little Mink and another figure extended their palms simultaneously, plunging them directly into the massive hurricane. Their arms quivered briefly, and immediately, the colossal winds veered off course, roaring out like frenzied wind dragons. Boom! The two hurricanes, infused with vast primordial energy, collided in the sky. At that instant, the space itself tore with pitch-black fissures, and even the heavens and earth dulled in response. Crack! Each hurricane was poured with immense primordial energy, yet their collision stayed at an impasse. Even though their energy levels were immense, neither could overpower the other. These two are truly formidable. Who would have thought that even after vanishing for a century, Big Brother Little Mink's power remains formidable? Hao Jiuyou is impressive too, but it seems he still can't surpass Big Brother Little Mink. A draw is already impressive. If Big Brother Little Mink hadn't disappeared a century ago, there'd be no contest for the position of clan leader candidate in the heavenly demon Mink clan. True. As the fierce standoff continued in the skies above, whispers arose among those on the ground below. Hao Jiuyou grasped the black hurricane, his face, once softly smiling, now icy cold, with grim unwillingness burning in his eyes. This bastard! For 100 years, I've paid untold costs for this power. Can I still not surpass his century of clinging to life? Hao Jiuyou's heart raged silently, seething with grudges visible in the scarlet glint in his depths. I am the finest in the heavenly demon Mink clan. The red in Hao Jiuyou's eyes grew more intense. Suddenly, his hand clutching the black hurricane clenched, revealing an eerie rune within his palm. How could someone born a genius understand my sacrifice? I promised I'd tread you beneath my feet today. Black runes emerged from Hao Jiuyou's palm, entwining intricately like roots, casting countless dark threads that filled his palm with an intensely sinister energy. I've waited 100 years for this. You won't escape unscathed today. Hao Jiuyou thrust his hand deeper into the ferocious black hurricane, his crimson eyes fixed on Little Mink in the distance. He let out a cold internal chuckle and tightly clenched his fist. Sizzle. When Hao Jiuyou grasped his hand, countless dark threads burst from his palm hidden within the hurricane, streaking through it like a complex network. Buzz. As these dark threads mingled with the black hurricane, its hue deepened, although its similarity to the existing color made it hard to spot. Only some powerful elders slighted the sudden increase in power within Hao Jiuyou's hurricane. Crash. At the point of clashes between the two hurricanes, space incessantly shattered into cracks, echoing thunderously through the skies. Both hurricanes housed tremendous primordial energy, wielded with earth-shaking power. At this moment, neither side managed to gain the upper hand, maintaining a stalemate. Yet, this deadlock couldn't endure indefinitely. Whoosh! The black thread snaked out of the hurricane, accelerating the space rupture where the hurricanes collided. The vast primordial energy of the purple-gold hurricane slowly dissipated under the black hurricane's corrosion. The prior stalemate broke sharply. The black hurricane, like a released black dragon, roared skyward and crashed into the purple-gold hurricane with tremendous force. Bang! 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 The once unyielding purple-gold hurricane shattered inch by inch under the black hurricane's onslaught. Like a chain reaction, the massive thousands of yards-long primordial energy hurricane exploded under onlookers. Shocked eyes. Swish. With the purple-gold hurricane's collapse, Hao Jiuyou streaked forward like a black streak, appearing in front of the equally startled little Mink, striking out with an open palm. His palm was covered with sinister black patterns, creeping like venomous serpents, evoking a chilling aura. Humph! Seeing Hao Jiuyou's relentless pursuit, little Mink snorted coldly. Hao Jiuyou watched as little Mink stubbornly took the hit, a faint, mocking smirk appearing at the corner of his mouth, while a more sinister look grew in his eyes. Boom! As fists and palms collided, a massive shockwave of energy swept across the sky with a resounding crash, the force of which shredded the clouds overhead. In the midst of this terrifying impact, the crowd below suddenly changed expressions dramatically, for they saw little Mink being blown back 1,000 feet, crashing heavily into a mountain wall, sending boulders tumbling down. Gasp! A murmur of shock spread among the onlookers below. Could it be that Hao Jiuyou had gained the upper hand in this exchange? How is that possible? Just now, Hao Jiuyou was only even with Diao. How has his strength suddenly increased so much? Wu Chong watched, clenching his fists in anger. Some members of the heavenly demon Mink clan furrowed their brows, clearly puzzled by the situation. On the steps, Zhu Li and the others also appeared astonished. Given their previous displays of power, it hadn't seemed easy to determine a winner between the two. It seems Hao Jiuyou has indeed outdone himself. After all, his decade of diligence is known to all, and though Diao is incredibly gifted, he still lags behind by a century. An elder with a smile remarked. Indeed, great elder, the outcome is clear. Shouldn't we? Another elder supporting Hao Jiuyou nodded in agreement. Zhu Li furrowed his brow, exchanged glances with a few elders, hesitated briefly, and then nodded reluctantly. In this duel, Hao Jiuyou holds a slight advantage, Zhu Li announced, looking up at the figure in the sky with a grave expression. Many thanks to Brother Diao for letting me win. Hao Jiuyou's face resumed its usual gentle smile. He looked at the distant, concave mountain wall and clasping his hands in thanks with a smile. Boom! The wall crumbled, and amidst the flying rubble, a figure emerged. Little Mink's face was slightly darkened. Between his slender fingers lingered some black energy, insidiously trying to invade his body from every pore. Fortunately, he managed to block it entirely with his full effort. Such energy was indeed domineering. Little Mink frowned. Earlier, Hao Jiuyou truly was evenly matched with him. However, it was evident that some method was secretly employed, causing a sudden increase in power that was rather eerie. That power doesn't belong to you, does it? Little Mink's gaze was sharp as he stared at Hao Jiuyou, speaking slowly. Brother Diao, what are you suggesting? Hao Jiuyou smiled faintly and then turned away indifferently, looking towards Zhu Li below and said, Great Elder, since the duel has concluded, what about the position of clan leader candidate? With a sigh, Zhu Li nodded and proclaimed, From this day forth, within the heavenly demon Mink clan, the new clan leader candidate shall be Hao Jiuyou. As Zhu Li's voice fell, astonishment spread through the square, leaving many members of the heavenly demon Mink clan with faces tinged with regret. They glanced at little Mink in the sky, wondering who could have thought this once brilliant genius of the clan would nonetheless falter. Little Mink, however, paid little attention to the many gazes. He just gave a deep look to Hao Jiuyou before descending. Diao. Seeing little Mink descend, Wu Chong quickly approached, gritting his teeth and exclaiming, How could that guy possibly beat you? Little Mink waved his hand. Though he, too, was somewhat confused. Raising doubts now would only make the clan think he couldn't accept his defeat gracefully. Therefore, more words were unnecessary. In the sky, Hao Jiuyou stood alone, his gaze surveying the many members of the heavenly demon Mink clan below. His gentle smile widened, especially as he saw little Mink's somewhat dejected figure, filling his heart with a burst of satisfaction. From childhood, he had only average talent but thankfully possessed a sharp mind and a ruthless will. Now, by stepping over this once most brilliant genius of the heavenly demon Mink clan, he proved that he was, indeed, the most outstanding within the clan. From this moment on, no one among his peers in the heavenly demon Mink clan could rival him, and in the near future, the entire heavenly demon Mink clan would fall under his control. Thinking of this, Hao Jiuyou felt an urge to laugh heartily at the sky. Years of patience had finally paid off. Let's go, Little Mink said to Wu Chong, turning to leave. Wu Chong sighed, deeply understanding Little Mink's pride. Knowing today's loss was truly a hard blow for him. Who would have thought even the heavenly demon Mink clan would resort to using the power of alien demons? As Little Mink was about to turn away, a familiar laugh suddenly echoed from afar, wrapped in primordial energy, booming across the heavens and earth. Lin Dong. Hearing this laugh, Little Mink froze momentarily, then quickly turned around with a delighted gaze towards the distant sky. Who? In the sky, Hao Jiuyou's expression changed as he shouted sharply. The heavenly demon Mink clan's experts below were also startled, scanning around to find the speaker. Whiz! From the distance, there came the sound of air being cut. Soon, a figure swiftly darted over, appearing in the sky under numerous gazes. It was Lin Dong, who had entered the celestial cavern. Who are you? How dare you trespass into the heavenly demon Mink clan? Looking for death? Some elders in the heavenly demon Mink clan were immediately furious, and vast primordial energy surged forth, preparing to capture him. This young friend, could you elaborate on what you just mentioned? Zhu Li motioned for the elders to calm down, fixing his gaze tightly on Lin Dong. Being the Grand Elder of the heavenly demon Mink clan, he was keenly aware of the implications of the term alien demon. You elders of the heavenly demon Mink clan have truly been living in a fog. Not only have alien demons infiltrated your clan, but the celestial cavern has also been rigged with traps. All the secluded experts inside are trapped in an illusion, and yet you've failed to notice it for all these years. Truly senile. Lin Dong looked at the elders, unable to stifle a mocking laugh. Brat, you're spouting nonsense, courting death. The two elders who supported Hao Jiuyou turned ashen, roaring in outrage as they moved together, reaching out to seize Lin Dong. Lin Dong watched the two elders charge at him with malevolence, yet he merely smirked, showing no intent to defend. Buzz. However, just as the two were about to reach Lin Dong, the space around him suddenly rippled, and a towering figure with dark golden hair appeared beside him. The figure extended a large hand, and the two elders at the revolution stage were instantly immobilized. Why are you two elders so quick to resort to violence? Feeling guilty, perhaps? The imposing figure, radiating immense authority, fixed his gaze on the two elders whose faces had turned from anger to fear, his deep voice echoing aloud. Clan leader? Welcome, clan leader. The numerous clan members of the heavenly demon Mink clan below, upon seeing the figure appear in the sky, immediately exhibited a drastic change in expression.